Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I cannot wait to share with you a ton of Trash to Treasure thrift store makeover projects. I'm also going to throw in some Dollar Tree projects. So this is another compilation video. I know you guys love to watch my binge-worthy crafting videos. So for this video, I wanted to compile all of my flea market Trash to Treasure thrift store makeovers for you all. I love to share with you guys how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a budget. And remember, all you have to do to fit your decor style is to change the paint colors, the ribbons, the laces, whatever it is to make it all your own. So you guys, without further ado, let's grab some paint, get out your glue guns and some glitter, and let's get to crafting. For this first Trash to Treasure makeover project, we are going to create this darling French farmhouse Bon Appetit sign using a mirror that Mr. Romantic brought home for me from the thrift store. Here it is. It's just an old scrolly mirror. It looks like he got it for 14 bucks. So what I want to do first is remove the backing because I want to brush paint this mirror white. So I'm just unscrewing all the screws and taking the mirror out. And then once I have that done, I'm laying down some cardboard and I'm just using some latex paint and I'm going to begin to paint the mirror. I also had cleaned it off before I started the paint job, and so I'm just going to brush paint this mirror. I'm going in and around it, but doesn't have to be perfect because I am going to distress it so some of the paint can show through. I used my paint and applied 2 coats to this entire mirror. You could also use spray paint on a project like this. I had this white paint on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. Now I just want to take some black craft paint. I got this at Walmart. It's the Apple Barrel craft paint, and then a little bit of baking soda, and I'm just going to mix it up. I want to create kind of a bit of a grainy texture because I want to make kind of like a faux chalkboard. Now, I haven't ever done this before, so if you guys want this to last really well and you're going to be writing a lot on your chalkboard, you're probably going to want to go to the store and get some official chalkboard paint. But I knew I just wanted to write Bon Appetit on this sign and I wanted to make it appear like a chalkboard. Again, I'm kind of challenging myself to use everything that I already have because these are Trash to Treasure projects, and so I really don't want to spend a lot of money. Also, I am preserving the mirror on the other side because if I change my mind, which I'm definitely prone to do, I can reuse this as a mirror. So I love that. It's kind of dual purpose. Now I'm just replacing the mirror back into the frame with the chalkboard sign facing out, and I'm also putting the backing back on. I did notice that it had too much backing stuffed in there, so I took one of the pieces out, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put the screws back in the entire project. Once I had everything put back together, I took a piece of regular sidewalk chalk that I picked up at the Dollar Tree and wrote Bon Appetit. So this is my little French farmhouse treasure. I was really excited about this. Again, I'm not sure how the faux chalkboard painting underneath is going to go, but I'm just using it for this purpose, so I think it should be okay. If it doesn't work out, I am going to go back in with some chalkboard paint, but look how adorable this came out, and I can write whatever inspirational, fun kitchen saying I want. Now for the next Frenchy farmhouse makeover, I'm going to take this table that I actually picked up on my neighbor's curbside. So they were moving and they just threw this table out. I originally had this painted kind of a taupe color with just some flat spray paint, but I decided I wanted to give it some character. So I'm going in with that same white paint and I'm painting this entire table. Again, I did 2 coats on this table to make sure I got pretty full coverage in and around the entire thing, and also again customize this to whatever colors you love. You guys know me, I love the white shabby chic kind of French farmhouse look, and so I'm going with white. Now I'm going in with a little bit of that leftover black chalk paint that I created, and I'm just kind of dry brushing this onto the sides of the table and in and around the top. So I just got some black paint on my paintbrush, and then I kind of wiped it off onto a towel, and then I'm just barely going back over some of the little spindles and the showy parts of this project. Once my black chalk paint had dried, I'm going in with sandpaper, and I'm just sanding the top and in and around the edges. Now, my neighbors had originally painted this little table green, so there were some green spots that actually sanded through, which I was okay with. I want it to be that kind of French farmhouse, bit of rustic flair. So I'm also going in and I'm sealing this with some polyurethane. So with the polyurethane, you apply a coat and then you allow several hours to dry, you sand it, and then you apply another coat. So this is a bit of a process. Be patient with yourself, but I think it's coming out really cute and just perfect. And hey guys, it was absolutely 100% free. It fits perfectly over here by my sofa, and this is Mr. Romantic's side of this sofa, so I'm sure he'll really appreciate having somewhere to put his coffee in the morning. And again, you guys, very budget friendly because I picked it up for free. Gotta be loving that. And look how adorable it looks with my little throw pillows over here and my kind of French country farmhouse shabby chic vibe going on. Absolutely loving this one. For my next Trash to Treasure makeover project, I am going to make over this really cute but old and a bit weathered basket. So this was a basket that I think that I found at a garage sale for about $1 or $2, and it has been drug around my house for quite some time. I've been eyeing it for a while, thinking I should give it a paint job, and I went ahead and went for it. So I'm just using that same paint. Now this was some chalk paint that I had mixed up myself, so this has a little bit of baking soda mixed in with the regular paint, and I'm just going in and I'm painting the entire basket. I didn't paint the bottom because I didn't really feel like that was necessary, but I did paint the entire basket, and again I gave it 2 coats of the paint. Also, I wanted to let you all know that between coats on all of these projects that I'm featuring in this DIY Trash to Treasure makeover project, I let the first coat of paint dry overnight. So this was actually a 2-day project. So I painted 1 coat on, and then I let that entire coat dry overnight. And then on the second day, I did the second coat. I just wanted to give a little note for you guys on that. And then I took some Dollar Tree nautical rope, and I just began to kind of hot glue it in and around that basket handle. The basket handle was a little floppy, so I did reinforce it with some hot glue underneath. And then I'm just wrapping the entire handle with the Dollar Tree nautical rope. Now, as I'm wrapping, every couple of loops, I'm hot gluing onto the handle, and then I'm having to kind of push it and press it down. That Dollar Tree nautical rope isn't super bendy, but it worked very good for this project. I originally thought it was going to be a little wide and I was just going to use twine, but I wanted a little bit bigger of an impact. I did notice on the Pottery Barn website how some of their baskets have these kind of larger loopy handles. So I wanted to kind of create that effect on a very teeny tiny budget using items from my favorite place in the world, the Dollar Tree. So I just continued to wrap the handle and also do some gluing until I got to the end of the handle, and then I snipped it off with my scissors. Once I had the entire handle wrapped and I cut the end off, I just went ahead and put it in this little perfect spot in my living room. I added in an extra blanket. I love to keep pillows and blankets in my living room. You guys comment and let me know. Do you have like a million pillows and blankets in your living room? I'm hoping to kind of contain a little bit of that, at least by having this basket. It worked out perfectly, and I think one of my favorite things with these kind of trash to treasure makeover projects is the item is fine in its original state, but giving it new life just does something exciting for my home decor. I love that. It's one of my favorite things to do. I actually used to have a flea market booth, and that was one of my favorite things, was to make things over with paint. So another trash to treasure makeover project I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make a cover for this pillow. So I'm taking an old curtain that was kind of like a khaki color. I had washed it and bleached it really well, and there was nothing really wrong with this pillow. I just wanted kind of some new life on it. This curtain actually fit perfectly over the pillow, so all I had to do was fold it in half and then begin to glue one of the sides down. So I folded the pillow in half, and now I'm just gluing this edge down with some hot glue. Now, of course, you guys could definitely sew this. I am not a sewing girl. I don't have a sewing machine, and I don't really have a whole lot of patience for sewing. I've also used some of those iron-on sewing things, and you guys could use those as well. Whatever floats your boat, I definitely recommend you go for. But I love hot glue. I use hot glue all the time. I knew I just wanted to use this pillow underneath my entryway table to conceal some cords, and then I wanted to use this pillow in a basket. So I knew I wasn't going to actually be using it as a pillow just for display and decorative purposes only, so I'm completely fine with just hot gluing it. So once I had one side hot glued down, I'm just gluing down the other side. So once I had 3 sides glued down, I just checked the fabric to make sure it was long enough. I'm adding a little bit more hot glue because I want to glue it a little bit longer than the pillow, so I have plenty of room to kind of do a little tuck at the bottom. And so that's what my plan was, is just to kind of take the bottom of the fabric and tuck it. So I'm going to cut the fabric off, and then I'm going to kind of fit it around the pillow. And also I wanted to let you guys know that for this project, I started with the fabric that I wanted to be on the outside, inside. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pillowcase that I created and I'm going to turn it inside out. So when you do this project, cut and glue your fabric on the inside. Does that make sense? Any hoozy doozy. So I'm just taking it and turning it inside out, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my pillow back into its cute little pillowcase. I love this fabric. I really think this nice clean khaki color is just really fresh and clean for spring. It's definitely French farmhouse, which is the vibe that I'm going for in my living room. So I'm just pushing that pillow in very delicately because I don't want to mess up my perfect seams. You guys know, again, this is just for decorative purposes, so no worries here. And then I kind of made sure that I got the ends in, and then I'm just going to take it at the base of the pillow and I'm going to kind of do a fold. You can see my contemplation here because I wasn't completely for sure where I was going with this, but I'm just going to kind of tuck it in almost like a little envelope. So I tucked it in and then I'm folding it, and then I'm going to add some dabs of hot glue. Again, this is for decorative purposes, so it doesn't have to be crazy perfect. And once I had my little tucks nipped in, I'm just adding in some hot glue, and then I'm also kind of holding it as I glue along. That way it doesn't pop open. I didn't even glue this down super tight because I thought I may actually go in with some of that no-sew strip if I wanted to eventually,
or even try to add some kind of zipper to it because I really feel like it's a really nice little pillow. But for now, it's just glued at the bottom, and I think that will work. I think it would be really cute too to add like a piece of fabric or ribbon in and around the pillow that's like a black and white stripe. Anyway, that's just my thought for decor purposes on this pillow, but it looks super perfect and adorable in my little French farmhouse basket.
Projects. So I like to call this kind of like my paint therapy. I don't know if I have told you before, but I used to have a flea market booth actually for several years. I like found tons of treasures and watched them and made them cute or painted them and then sold them locally. So that was super fun. So without further ado, you guys, let's jump into this fun DIY thrift store trash to treasure makeover project video.
I am so excited to share these trash to treasure projects with you all. So I have been helping do a house clean out, and so I got all of these items actually for free. I have this old chair that has definitely seen better days, this wreath, several baskets. This basket was in okay shape, but the other basket was definitely dingy, and I wasn't for sure if I was going to roll with that one, but I went ahead and threw it into the project. I also really love this lamp. It was kind of that old gold brass, and I definitely wanted to give it a cute little facelift. So here's a sneak peek of the after. There is that chair, you guys. How amazing does that look? I cannot wait to share with you all how I transformed these items. I really think that some paint and some TLC are just what the doctor ordered, especially for summer coming up. I wanted to do a lot of pastels because I'm going to be transforming a lot of areas in my home to some more French farmhouse, French country, shabby chic, but also some coastal vibes. So I cannot wait to share with you guys some brand new DIYs with that. Now, I started out with this chair, and I knew the first thing I needed to do was to remove the seat. The seat was in really bad shape, and I wasn't even for sure if it was going to be able to be salvaged, but it was just really the fabric that was really dingy. So I went ahead and put my Bob the Builder hat on, got out my screwdriver, and unscrewed the screws from the base of the chair to remove the entire chair. Then I used my Method Wood for Good Daily Clean. I am in love with this. If you guys order from Grove Collaborative, definitely try that Method cleaner. Also, I do have a coupon code for a 5-piece free gift set if you guys want to try some of the Grove Collaborative products. I love getting yummy cleaners in the mail. So anyway, back to the chair. I used this Wood for Good cleaner and I gave it a really good cleaning. And then the next thing I wanted to do was just to go ahead and mix up some homemade chalk paint for this project. Now, this chair probably is going to be more of a decor piece, so I'm okay to use the homemade chalk paint on this piece. But if you guys are going to get a lot of traffic out of your furniture pieces, I definitely recommend probably just going to the store to buy your chalk paint. But I used just 1 cup of regular paint to about half a cup of baking soda. So for the colors on this, I used an antique white, and then I squirted a couple dabs of black into the antique white color, and that gave it kind of a gray color. It's a little bit hard to tell in the video, but it does have a little bit of a gray tone to it. Again, I'm moving into kind of this French farmhouse vibe that I'm absolutely loving. I do still love a lot of pastels and whites, but I wanted to give a different tone to some of my projects. So you guys, again, painting chairs, you think it's super easy, and actually it's not bad. I love painting because it's kind of like therapy to me. So I'm just giving it one good solid coat, and I do start with the chair flipped upside down. Once I have a good coat going on the underside, I flip it over and do the top side, and then flip it back over and do the underside again. So now you can see I've just gone outside and I am using some of my husband's camo spray paint. It's actually like in a tan matte color, and I'm just spray painting the basket and the lamp base. I didn't have a whole lot of spray paint on hand, and I did not want to brush paint the baskets. You can definitely brush paint a basket, but it takes a while. detail. So anywho, I am just spray painting this with the camo spray paint. I ended up going in with a little bit of rose gold spray paint because I wanted to give a different dimension and kind of textural element to how this display was going to turn out. And then I also went in with the little lampshade base because I had found a silver metallic, and I used a silver metallic with that. And then after those two coats dried, I went in and I brush painted just a little bit of the kind of creamy gray chalk paint over that. So many layers here. I couldn't make up my mind, to be totally honest with you guys. Did you guys ever do that? Do you just completely randomly paint things, decide to paint things again? So anyway, here is the metallic spray paint that I found, and there was quite a bit left in this can. So I went ahead and spray painted the basket, and now I'm just using this thrift store jacket that I found. I thought this was so clever. This was just an old jacket. It had stains all over it, but the base had this kind of ruffled trim. And so I completely cut off the ruffled trim. I knew I wanted it to fit around this basket, and it ended up being perfect. I couldn't even believe how perfect it was. So I'm just taking my hot glue gun and I'm hot gluing in and around the top part of the edge of the basket and just gluing the trim to the top part of the basket. Now the trim was a little bit rough on the edge. You could definitely turn the edge under if you wanted a clean edge, but I'm okay with a little bit of shabby chic vibe. And so it was definitely meant to be because where the jacket came around was a button and it fit perfectly around this basket. Also, if you're doing a round basket, you can make it fit against your basket by just making a little pleat with your hot glue gun. So I just pleated it right here so it would fit really well against the basket. And there it is. I buttoned it. So I have two options. It can go on the ruffled side or the basket side. I am so in love with how cute this basket turned out. I'm definitely going to be incorporating some stripes and some of that kind of coastal vibe into my French farmhouse. Wondering if there's such thing as a French farmhouse coastal look. Anyway, I'm using the metallic spray paint and I'm spray painting my little grapevine wreath. And then again, I did brush paint a little bit of the wreath with some of that gray chalk paint. I thought that gave it kind of that rustic French farmhouse vibe, if you guys know what I'm going with here. Now, I did want to do something with that little gold rose frame, but I just didn't get to it. This was a big day of painting for me, you guys. So here is also one of those chairs that I painted. Now this chair, if you guys watched my spring home tour, which I will link down below, was a dark gray. And I noticed in my home tour that was just a little bit too dark for this space. So here is also the finished part of this chair makeover. And I did go to the thrift store to find some kind of beige striped fabric that I used to recover the chair. So here I am finishing up the metallic spray paint on the lamp, and here is the lamp turned on, and then I turned it off so you guys could see up close a little bit more detail. I did leave kind of this silver in and around the top, and then I just brush painted very lightly some of that gray chalk paint. So it's kind of a two-tone look. It's got kind of the grayish off-white chalk paint at the base, and then the top with the lamp shade. So here it is all put together. Comment and let me know what you all think. Now, I really want to order a specialty pillow, but this little pillow is just the DIY Trash to Treasure project that we did from my last Trash to Treasure project video, and I will link that video down below as well. Just some really simple and easy pillows that we made, but I am absolutely loving this. And I think it's just so perfect for spring and transitioning into summer. So here I am. It was so nice out. First it started out in the morning cold, but then it got nice. So I took my chair project outside, and I'm just sharing with you guys how I finished this up. I did end up giving it 2 good coats, letting it dry about 2 hours in between time. Once the paint on my chair had dried, I did go in with some sandpaper and I just sandpapered the edge. Also, you guys can take a rag with just a little bit of water on it and you can distress it that way as well. I didn't show that part because I've never done that before, and I did get a little bit too much distressing a bit at the top, but I think it definitely throws in that French farmhouse vibe. And check out this cute little seat cover that I made. I'm really thinking that that's pretty clever because I just used an old curtain piece that I found at the thrift store. So here's the other chair I decided to make over. It's a hot mess because my kiddos, well, hey, we live in our home. I've had questions about how I keep my home so white, and I really don't. I have to wash and bleach things, so just so you know.
Okay, you guys, so I got a wild hair and I decided I wanted to paint this beautiful chair in my living room with this kind of cream colored homemade chalk paint. This is probably going to be an all-day project of me painting. I hope you guys enjoy.
Full stop. Can't believe I live in your thoughts. I think about you all the time, morning, evening, and midnight. Such a wonderful delight. Forgo, give up everything that I own. Yeah, I'd give it all up now just to be with you somehow. Unexpected love was found. You're the rose in a garden, and it shows.
So for this chair, I just went about it kind of in the same way I did the last chair, except for because it was already painted, I didn't do the underneath side quite as thorough as I did the brown chair. Hopefully it's not a hot mess underneath here, but hey, we're calling it good with this. And it did cross my mind several times to cheat and go to Walmart and just grab some spray paint, but I soldiered on because I already had the paint on hand, and you guys know how I love to do that. So here is that piece of curtain that I was talking to you guys about. This was $1.50 at the thrift store, and I just loved how the stripes looked perfectly to transition into a coastal farmhouse idea. So I am just pulling off my old DIY covering job, which was pretty terrible. As you all can see, I got really impatient because we had given our staple gun to somebody to use and it never came back to us. And so I don't have a stapler to staple my fabric down anymore. So I just use my hot glue gun. You guys know me. I love my hot glue gun. It works for me. It's an easy way to remove this and redo this. And so anyway, I'm just going for it. I'm hot gluing the fabric and then I tuck it around the edges and I hot glue the fabric some more, and voila, I'm good to go.
You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh, ooh, you, ooh, ooh. So slow, hold you in my arms, won't let go. The world around could pass us by, a thunderstorm, a lightning strike.
And here is the finished project. I have some beautiful matching chairs. It cost me absolutely nothing. I had everything on hand except for the curtain from the thrift store that I thrifted for $1.50. And I did thrift the little liner around the basket as well. So I guess it cost me a couple bucks, but hey, it was worth the effort. Not sure what to do with this little rose painting. I almost kind of liked it as is. I also found the little stand at the thrift store for $4. It was just crying my name. It's so pretty and scrolly and just perfect. You guys help me out with that rose picture. Should I leave it as is to kind of give it that vintage vibe, or should I do something fun with it? So I've got the Victoria's Classic Cottage Bliss. That is a great one. My mom gave it to me. And then the Flea Market Gardening behind it. And then here's just my little Dollar Tree DIY that I'm popping in. If you guys can see really closely, there is kind of a copper rose gold tone to that basket. I found some of that paint left over from Christmas and decided to use the rest of it. And so I have a surprise for you guys too. In one of my upcoming videos, I'm going to reset my table and do a totally different theme and probably a couple of DIYs with that. We'll have to see, but I have some really exciting projects coming for you guys. Comment and let me know what you think about this French farmhouse feel. I think it's really peaceful and cozy, and my son's girlfriend actually helped me pick the fabric for the seat covers, so thank you to her. She is such a doll.
So we are going to do a DIY no-sew sofa slip cover, a DIY no-sew pillowcase cover. We're also going to transform my coffee table from just a boring coffee table that has a really chipped up top to a beautiful marble, fabulous coffee table. Faux marble, that is. So anyway, you guys, we're going to use items from the Dollar Tree, items from Walmart, super duper inexpensive. I cannot wait to share this set of DIYs with you guys. So without further ado, plug in your glue guns and let's get to crafting.
So my brown leather sofa has been well loved. My cat Tinky has definitely scratched up the back quite a bit. So what I want to do is take several thrift store blankets and just create a sofa slip cover. These are queen size blankets, so I used this large cotton blanket, and I actually almost donated this blanket because it has seen better days as well, but it will be perfect for this project. Now I took the chenille blanket and I cut it right down the center, and so I created 2 panels of the chenille blanket and then one. The cotton blanket was not cut at all, and now you can see I'm just hot gluing the chenille blanket to the side of the cotton blanket. So I want to create a really large piece of fabric to go over the entire sofa, and I'm just using a low temp glue gun. You guys can see I bedazzled my glue gun. Yes, I had to bling it out, but I'm just continuing to glue the chenille panel onto the cotton blanket. Now, if you all have a sewing machine, definitely go for that, but I do not, and I think this will be fine to wash on cold water and just line dry. It's not for super long-term fix. I am saving up for a new sofa, but right now I wanted to use some things that were inexpensive and accessible, and I've been dreaming of making this slipcover actually for quite some time, and I was really excited for how it actually came out. So now you can see that I have the first panel of the chenille cover on, and now I'm just gluing the second panel of the chenille cover on. So for the centerpiece, it is the longest side of the blanket. So you want to use on your centerpiece the widest, longest part. I hope that makes sense to you all. And both of these blankets are queen size blankets. So now that I had the 2 panels attached to either side of my large blanket, I want to go ahead and see if it fits onto my sofa. And it did end up being a little bit too short in the back. So what I wanted to do was go ahead and add an extra panel to the front. Now I have looked for sofa slip covers online forever, and I cannot find one for less than $100. So I had this ruffled curtain that I picked up from the thrift store, and it's just a long curtain and it's the same size as my blankets, and so I just hot glued that to the front of my panel, and that way hopefully when I tuck this in it is going to work and it is going to be perfect for this sofa. And guys, it actually ended up working, and it was really great that I left it a little bit long because then that gave me plenty of room and fabric to tuck in. So I'm just tucking into the front part of the sofa, and then I do tuck my sides in really well, and I even kind of pull it off to the side, and that way it stays in really nice and snug and secure. And you guys can even buy some of those little clips at Walmart, which I'm going to show you guys I ended up using on this. But I love the fringe trim. It comes out so great. It does take a little bit of tucking, but it's really great with the tucking because that way it doesn't move around on your sofa as much. So in the back, I also tucked that as well. So for the next thrift store makeover project, I'm just going to make over this white pillow that was headed on its way to the Goodwill, and I decided to take one of those Dollar Tree scarves and create just a cute little tie on it. So you just take one of those Dollar Tree buffalo check plaid scarves, and buffalo check plaid is so adorable to add into almost any decor. You guys can add it into shabby chic, farmhouse, a French farmhouse. It's just so fun and summery. So I just tied a little bow in the center, and really you guys could use this two ways. You could use it on the back with the larger buffalo check plaid print, or you could use it in the front with the little bow. So here I'm sharing with you guys how my sofa looks after I sit down on it, and I did go ahead and decide to add some of those little clips. These are actually sheet grippers that you buy at Walmart. They come 4 to a pack for about $5. So what you want to do is you want to take the sheet gripper and grip it from the back and then just pull it through to the front and grip the front part of your sofa slipcover. And that really helps it stay in place. So you guys can see when I sit down on it, it doesn't really move around that much. And so those really definitely help. That's a huge trick if you guys are doing one of these. I really feel like my sofa slipcover came out so beautiful, and it cost me next to nothing. I think one of the blankets was $3 at the thrift store and one of them was $10. Anyway, and then this little Dollar Tree scarf really got some use. Also, another way that you all could style your sofa is with a bed pillow. I love using this shabby chic bed pillow just when I want something different to give it a different look. So fun for spring. So for the next Trash to Treasure thrift store makeover project, I wanted to share with you guys how I gave my little coffee table some new life. So you can tell I have painted this coffee table a million times. It's been so many colors, and I really just wanted something easy for the top. So Walmart has contact paper, and my daughter and I just ended up cutting the contact paper and putting it straight onto the table. It was dry and clean. That's one of the main things. Just make sure your surface is dry and clean and cut it to size, and then it's so easy. It's just like putting a sticker on, basically. We love to do this contact paper though together. It just makes it go easier. I don't know why. She always helps me unroll it, and then I smooth as we go. And I know you can take like a little spatula or just like something that you can use to smooth it if you don't have the extra helper, but I was definitely happy to have her on hand. And this is just a great way to make over an old piece of furniture that needs some new love. I find so many pieces of furniture all the time at thrift stores, and usually their top is the worst. But the whole trunk just was painted white, and I did share with you guys, I have all of my craft supplies actually stored in this little trunk, and then it doubles as a coffee table, which I absolutely love. And now I'm styling this with just some purples in kind of a French farmhouse way. And there's my little Dollar Tree candle. I shared with you guys that gelato candle, and it smells so delicious if you need a yummy smelling candle. So for the next Trash to Treasure makeover project, again, I'm using those Dollar Tree scarves on my pillow that was almost on its way out the door, but I decided to try to give it some new life. This time I'm just using 2 of those Dollar Tree scarves, and I just tied it in a knot in the back and then tucked the ends under. And then you take the second Dollar Tree scarf and you lay it over the pillow, and if you're really crazy and have to get it lined up with the checkers, go for that. But I was trying to just relax, and then I just tied another knot in the back, and then you just take the ends of the scarf and you tuck them under. Now this type of pillow is more for decoration. It's not going to last in a pillow fight. It's not going to last if your kids are going to be using it as a bed pillow or passing out on the couch, but it is a fun way to update an old pillow that needs some love. And definitely next time I buy throw pillows, I'm going to buy throw pillows that have a removable, washable cover because like I said, these pillows were about on their way out. But giving them some new life, I feel like really helped them out. And I think it's just a fun way to update your sofa, or they would work really great in like a little throw chair, or they'd be super adorable in a picnic basket. I thought about trying that. I mean, look at how great this looks. I think this looks so fun and fresh for summer. And now I have like a whole new living room, and all it cost was a couple of dollars. And then I wanted to share with you guys too that Dollar Tree is putting out some of these scarves in the red and black check. Now they had these during the winter time, but they were kind of a flannel material, and these are a really lightweight material. So I'm actually going to share with you guys even some more DIYs that you can do with these Dollar Tree scarves, because I think they're so fun and I'm just going crazy with ideas. But I wanted to share with you guys this quick red and black one just for more visual interest. I'm doing it the same way that I did the other white and black one. I'm just tying it in the back and then tucking the little scarf ends in. But how cute would that be for Christmas? So now I'm going to share with you guys how I would style my coffee table in more of a French chic farmhouse or shabby chic style. I added those little florals that I got at a garage sale. They were $1.50, and actually this guy gave me a bunch of paint, and so I felt led to buy something from him, and so his wife had those flowers, so I went ahead and grabbed those from them. But I just styled this with my old vintage candelabra. I did not DIY the candelabra. It is just an old candelabra, and actually part of it on the back is broken, but I still hang on to it. You guys, I love things that are just shabby chic that somebody would actually throw away. I just love giving them some love and finding them a new home. I added the candelabra to the top of those little French chic books, and I do have a DIY for that I will link down below for you guys. And then of course this little cake that I got from Rhonda's Rose Cottage Designs, just layered on top of some really beautiful vintage plates. I really thought that that set the mood. And then with some candles, so chic and so shabby and so fun. And then over there is my plate collage in the dining room. Again, if you guys need some DIY inspiration, I shared with you all how I did the plate collage and also the floral that is on my mantle. So now it is time to sit back and relax, have a nice little cup of tea or coffee or just whatever floats your boat, and enjoy the day.
Flea market flip. So we are going to be creating this hall tree out of an old door and an old bed frame. These are so fun to do. My husband Josh is going to be joining me in this video. He is super creative and super fantastic, and you guys definitely shouted out and said that you wanted to see him do some DIYs with me.
We're going to make a hall tree out of an old door and an old headboard.
So I'm super excited for this. Without further ado, you guys, we are going to get out some power tools and get to work creating an amazing hall tree. I have one in my home. You guys have commented on it before, and so I cannot wait to share this project with you guys. Let's get going.
Okay, the first thing we want to do is prepare our door, kind of clean it up, look for any extra hardware or pieces on it that need to come off. Basically get it prepped for the project. This one had a piece of trim along the bottom that we had to remove. Other than that, it wasn't too bad. A little sanding kind of cleaned it up. That part's what's going to be on the floor. The windows had a lot of overspray or overpaint, I guess, so we used some razor blades to remove as much of the excess paint as we could. We wanted to leave some to kind of give it a little bit of more vintage or tattered look. Next thing we want to do is prep the headboard. This is what's going to be as our arms of the chair, essentially. I wanted to kind of glue this together and get it back into a good shape because it was not in the best shape. Strengthen it up for the project. I'm measuring this out to 25 inches or so, I believe. It's kind of what we came up with for the depth of the seating. So after we get our measurements marked, we will make some cuts. I went back through, remarked my measurements so I could see them as I was making a cut so that I didn't make a mistake. Now these weren't really meant to be separated like this, so be careful as you're cutting this, as it tends to might want to fall apart on you, but we'll address that and get them tightened back up. They'll essentially be two identical parts, a left and a right. It doesn't matter which side, which one you use. So after we get both these pieces cut, we'll kind of want to check them out, measure them, see how they fall. All headboards are going to be different, so there's not a cookie cutter way to do this. Basically, you want the bottom of that headboard to be where the seat would be, is the easiest way to put it. So these lined up perfectly where I didn't have to cut any of the length of the headboard off to make it lower. So we're just going to roll into getting some screw holes to attach this. So this is where it's going to screw into the side of the door, and I didn't want the screw sticking out over the edge. So I'm going to countersink this, and that'll give me the option if I want to ever cover this up, we can, but we may not do it on this go round, but that will drop the screw below the line so it's nice smooth across there. So it just makes a bigger hole and also gives you a guide to start the screw, so it's helpful in a couple ways. But
Awesome.
So before you attach these, obviously you want to know where they're going to be attached. The best way to do it is to use the actual arm to kind of mark on the side of the door where they need to go. We added some wood glue to this to kind of add some strength. Over the years, this really heavy door wobbling may come loose with screws, so we don't want that to happen. Here's how I'm marking to know where to attach these at. You got to try to be pretty exact, but if you're a little off, it's not too bad. You just want it to be level at the end as best as it can be. I don't think I've ever made one that's completely level, but visually you can't see anything or notice. It kind of corrects itself as we do the seating on it. And it's starting to kind of come together here, making sure it's level as close as we can.
This is my favorite part right here, when you can really begin to visualize the process, and now he's just beginning to cut boards for the seating.
Yeah, so we'll run a board across the front and across the back to attach seating to. All the wood that we've used on this, these was reclaimed. The boards I'm using now are the slats that would have held the mattress in place. You want to measure these front and back boards the same width as the door. That helps really level it up and sure it up. So if you measure it just from the width of that, it could be too light. It won't be square. So again, we did some countersinking and added wood glue to really add strength. This is where the bulk of the weight, if people are going to be sitting on this, is going to be. So you want to make sure this is in there nice. We'll also put a brace. This is the back piece is going to go on the back. It's an identical cut as the front. So this one worked out really well with these slats to be able to use them for seating. I was cutting them pretty quick, and this is kind of the fun process where it really starts to take shape. It is a little more detail oriented on this so that everything lines up and that you have enough and you can do the spacing and all that correctly. Besides the screws, these cast iron brackets are the only other thing that weren't reclaimed. I'm going to put these in here to add some strength to the bottom of this, and it adds a nice touch. They look pretty neat and adds some vintage look to it. Now I'm kind of lining up where my screw holes need to be so that the seating looks uniform. It's not just random screw holes holding this down. So I spent a little more time on this process, double checking which side of the wood looks best to be on the top and which one's on the bottom. Again, I'm kind of lining these up. I'll use a weight to kind of hold that in place as I mark and line these up so they don't slide around. I'm basically just marking where I'm going to drill a hole or put a guide hole so that it's nice and uniform screw holes across the front. So I've kind of got it figured out where I need to drill my screw holes. So I'm going to do loosely line them up and then go back and do my countersink holes through all of it so that it looks nice and uniform across the front and have a good idea of where they need to be. This process, like I said, I spend a little more time on this so that it looks nice and uniform. You don't want to have gapping that's larger on one side and shorter on the other. So it's an easy process, but you want to spend some time on it. I glued the back of these on as well as putting a screw in the back, just to add another level of stability and so that these don't pop up and down. Sometimes wood benches tend to pinch, so we want to kind of prevent that the best we can. So that pretty much of the construction finishes it up. We're going to do a little bit of sanding and get it ready for paint. So I'm going to go back through any rough edges, sharp edges, anything like that. We want to distress this back as well, so a little more prep work. Want to do the sanding before the painting on the back, even though it isn't going to be painted. That way we don't have dust getting on our fresh paint.
Josh went in with a vacuum and made sure all the dust was off, and then we used our favorite method, wood cleaner. I get this off the Grove Collaborative website. I do have a coupon code below if you guys want to check that out. They have a 5-piece free gift set for you guys if you need some yummy smelling cleaners. Now we're just using some interior white paint to go ahead and paint our little bench with. We did decide to go ahead and leave the original green door color. I'm going to be redecorating the living room in a coastal vibe, and so I just was in love with this green door that he found. So we're just using this white paint to completely cover the entire bench setting, and we did use 2 coats on that.
To kind of continue with upcycling this, I used the spindles off the rest of the headboard to create some coat hooks. So there'll be 6 total. This piece of wood here is another remnant of the headboard. I'm essentially just drilling new holes for the spindles to go in. I'm going to cut them down to make them more of a hook or something to hang something on. I don't even know if it really has a name. I think I'd show you kind of up close here. This probably isn't the safest way to do this, so be careful if you're going to use this method. I didn't want to screw these right into the door, so I made this backboard to put them on. So if I really messed up, I didn't mess up my whole door, so I can attach this to the door. Here I'm creating kind of a design so that it's not just a squared off piece of wood. I'm going to have like a little hook in the top. I used an old socket set and just kind of drew it out and then cut it out with the skill saw. So I'll do this on all four corners of it, so it kind of gives it a nicer look. It's still a pretty industrial look to it, I guess to say, but it turned out pretty well, I think, in the end. So sanding these up, I'm going to use some wood glue after I get it nice and sanded to attach the spindles in. Wood glue works really well, especially when it's just wood on wood and there's not going to be any pressure pulling away. It'll last for a long time, especially in a spot that's going to be hard to put a screw in. So now I'm painting these so that they kind of tie in the base of the bench to the door, so that we have that white carrying throughout it. Kind of wanted to add another little touch of white to tie in the lower part of the hall tree. It wasn't too contrasting, so we trimmed out the windows with the white paint as well. We'll distress that and kind of tie it in and make it match. We wanted to distress the bench part, so it kind of tied into the door. We sanded it down, got a lot of the wood showing again, and went over it with an ebony stain, kind of darkened the whole thing up, but it didn't have that bright white new look that matched the door a lot more.
Can we all just give a super huge shout out to my husband, Josh, aka Mr. Romantic. What an amazing job he did on this project. And this was so easy for him. Definitely not something I could do, but I am so in love with this. You guys, I have been really wanting to do some different things. I love this pop of green. So here it is, styled in more of like a French country manner. I added that Dollar Tree floral to it, and then some of those Dollar Tree DIYs. This pretty little candelabra. It's actually a vintage candelabra. You guys ask me about this all the time. It's broken in the back, so I do love to hang on to shabby things. Here is another way that I styled this with just some more vibrant florals, still with those books, and then I added in some cute little shabby chic pillows to the back. And then there is that outdoor lamp that I shared with you guys how to make. It's that solar lamp. I keep bringing it inside. I'm sneaking it inside, you guys, because it's been storming here. And then here is just kind of some good vibes, beachy theme. I really think beach definitely goes with this beautiful aqua color. And think about this too, you guys. If you can't build a door, if you couldn't build like this door project, you could just stick a door or something aqua back behind to give your home a different pop of color. So I'm really loving this. I'm so excited to create some DIYs incorporating this color for you guys to view next week. So definitely stay tuned. And again, thank you to my husband for joining me on this amazing project. So much fun and such a blessing to have him here. To get started, I'm just hammering a nail into this tree, and I'm hanging this beautiful scrolly mirror for a little bit of inspiration. And now for the first Dollar Tree DIY, I'm laying out some old pizza boxes and some old Dollar Tree placemats that had seen better days. And now I'm also using an old piece of lace that was stained and torn, but perfect for this project. You just want to lay the piece of lace on top of your placemats, and then I'm using some Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint. You can get this at Walmart. I'm actually using gold because this is what I had on hand, and you just want to spray paint one layer of spray paint on top of your placemats. Once you give your spray paint a couple of minutes to dry, you can go ahead and remove the lace and then give them just a little bit longer to dry. But look at how beautiful they come out. I love this, and definitely you can use any type of old lace. Look for it at the thrift stores. The lace curtains are the best. Now I'm just going to go ahead and share with you all how I use these placemats. And I'm dressing my outdoor garden table with several layers of tablecloths. I started with a white one and then that beautiful pink one, and then I'm just using this lace tablecloth overlay to kind of soften the pink just a bit. For this placemat makeover project, I did use gold because that is what I had on hand. I also have vintage plates that have some gold in it, but use whatever color that you love and your decor style. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're taking one of those Dollar Tree bottles. I had already sprayed the base with some gold, but I wanted to add some detail to this. So I'm using kind of the same idea where I'm laying the lace over the bottle and then I'm just spraying on top of the bottle. And if you guys wanted to do this in even more of a budget-friendly style, you could also use an old wine bottle, but look at how beautiful this came out and so inexpensive and customized for that boutique gorgeous look on a teeny tiny budget. Now I'm just popping this bridal bouquet down into this beautiful painted bottle. I found these at a garage sale, but you can also find them at Michael's or Hobby Lobby and just use your 40 to 50% off coupon to get a good deal. And I did go ahead and fluff it up by adding some roses to the top, and you can also bend the roses down to make them look more natural. I also decided to go ahead and add a couple of feathers to the top of this. Now, I did light some candles, but I was very careful. This was just kind of more for show. So now I'm adding in those beautiful vintage plates. Like I said, they had some gold detail on them, so I thought that the gold centerpiece and the gold placemats would be absolutely perfect for this. I feel like it gives it that really beautiful glam touch without breaking the bank. I'm definitely loving this, and this is one of those Dollar Tree candles. I did this DIY with you guys a while back, and I added some bling to the Dollar Tree candle. Those are LED candles. I didn't do that to a regular candle. And now I'm just doing some mismatched teacups to go along with this beautiful table decor. This would be great for bridal shower, baby shower, a wedding, whatever fancy party that you would love to give that ambiance of some vintage flair. And now I'm adding in some of those really adorable fake cakes. I buy my fake cakes at Rhonda's Rose Cottage Designs, but I also make fake cakes, and I've shared with you guys an amazing DIY video on how you can make them using Dollar Tree products. Now I'm adding in some mini cupcake stands. I find these at TJ Maxx or the Target Dollar Spot, and that really gives a smaller table like this some height and dimension. Just another little tip and trick for you guys. So for the next Trash to Treasure project, I am taking this old fence. I actually got this free. My mom had recently moved and she left it behind. And I love the natural wood, but I also love the idea of it being painted white. And since I have a shabby chic kind of decor style, I thought it would be perfect for this garden party setting. I'm just using some outdoor paint that I actually got free from this painter. He was having a garage sale and he just gave it to me. I was so excited. And now I'm bringing out some of my beautiful florals. I had picked this garland up at a thrift store, and I'm also adding in some of these beautiful roses. I found these at TJ Maxx, but you can also find really big puffy roses like this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. You can also order them online. I have some linked in my Amazon store if you guys are interested. I also wanted to give this kind of a little bit of a wild look, so I'm adding in some of that Dollar Tree lilacs and then some of that Walmart lavender. I thought that gave it just some dimension and some visual interest. The next thing I wanted to add was this really cute burlap Hello Summer wreath. And for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we are going to create just some really easy bows for the side of our floral here. So you're going to take some of that Dollar Tree wired ribbon and cut about half a roll, and then just tie a bow like you would be tying your shoelace. Definitely give it a good fluffing, and then you can just loop it into your garland. I didn't even use any hot glue or wire for this. Now, if you did want this to stay a little bit more secure, you would want to add some wire. And then you're going to dovetail your ends by just creating a little triangle in the end of your ribbon, and then give your wired ribbon a bit of a curl. And that will give it that really pretty boutique look. And now I'm taking the other half of that spool of ribbon, and I'm doing the same thing on this side. I love kind of the farmhouse burlap ribbon that Dollar Tree sells with a little lace in it. It's so perfect for a romantic garden party idea. And again, you guys can customize this to suit whatever kind of decor style that you're decorating for. And with just these few simple touches, I really feel like it glammed up this beautiful fence. And there's also a couple of different options on how you guys can add a little bit more whimsy to it by using this coffee filter Dollar Tree wreath. I do have a huge wreath DIY video that I will link down below. So this was truly a trash to treasure project for this next one. We have been decluttering our yard, and we had this old kind of broken down chair that I pulled off of the burn pile, and then Mr. Romantic had brought home this pink paint. He found it at the thrift store for $1, and I just really wanted to find a use for it. So I went ahead and sprayed down this old chair. I used that wood cleaner. I get that off the Grove Collaborative website. I'll use a coupon code as well, and I'll link it for you guys down below. But I'm just painting this in kind of a striped fashion. I'm using white and pink, and I'm just kind of dry brushing it on because I did want some of the vintage Shabby to show through. So I only used one coat, and I didn't seal it because I actually want the rain to weather it in the sun and give it kind of that really cool shabby chic appearance. And here it is a little bit styled. I just threw a cushion on it and then another beautiful floral. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to take a piece of Dollar Tree poster board and we're going to do another lace project. I just love this. I shared with you guys how to do a bridal project like this a while back. We did that blessing sign, so definitely check that out. But we're just going to lay the lace over the piece of poster board and then lay the lace down and give it a good coat of spray paint. Again, you guys can customize this to suit your color, but look at how beautiful this comes out. It makes such an amazing backdrop. So what I want to do now is just take an old thrift store frame, and I traced out the size that I needed, and then I'm just using this crafting knife and I'm going to cut it out to fit down inside of this frame. And I'm going to give you guys an idea of how you might want to use this if you were doing a baby shower. And then you just put it right into the frame, and I did add some tape to the back of this to make sure that this held in really nicely. But this created such a beautiful customized look. It's almost so pretty that you could just use it as is. I may actually do that in my living room once I get done, share with you guys this garden party project. So to give you an idea, you can add a beautiful picture. I used this lovely little picture of my daughter when she was a baby, and then I added that solar garden light. I shared with you guys a DIY on how to create an outdoor lamp, and then you can see that I'm still reusing that old piece of lace kind of as a little overlay curtain on this. I'm adding in her baby book, but if you were doing this for a wedding, of course you'd want to add an engagement photo or a bride and groom photo. And then down below on this little vintage tea cart, I added that vintage suitcase, and then I'm just adding in some roses and a little bit of floral on the other side to kind of offset this. I want to give it a little bit of blooming floral touch. And then there's another one of those bridal bouquets I found at a garage sale. I was so blessed on that one, you guys. I can't even tell you. And I'm adding in some more florals, and really the sky is the limit on this project. Definitely look around and see what you all have. And this would work with a little covered table. I had this tea cart and I just thought it would be perfect. But look at how adorable this came out with this sweet little picture of my daughter. How cute is she? You guys, this picture, oh my goodness, it really made my heart smile. And actually this whole little setup, oh my goodness, she's so big now, but wow. Great memories, and this garden party was just so fun and fabulous to create. I also wanted to share with you all this beautiful fabric covered notebook. A friend of mine gave this to me, but you all could DIY this so easy and customize it to whatever party or decor style you are using. It's so sweet, just kind of tucked in here. It'd be great for a bride or for a baby shower to write some little notes in there. And now I'm adding my very favorite vintage tea set just to give it that extra special touch. And another fun DIY is to go ahead and pop a couple of longer straws into a beautiful vintage picture and then cut some down to size, and that way your guests can use them in a taller glass or maybe in a cup of coffee or tea. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create some beautiful napkin rings out of some vintage lace. Mr. Romantic actually picked this up for me, but you can find lace at the Dollar Tree and you just want to kind of cut it and double loop it onto your napkin rings. I'm going to do 4 place settings. I found these really beautiful linen napkins at a thrift store and they work perfectly for this garden party project. I'm making this super easy. I just cut them and loop them on to the napkins. I'm not even double knotting them. I'm just adding one little loop, and then I'm going to take some of those Dollar Tree lilacs and just tuck them down into the table setting. I thought this came out really beautiful, customized, and oh so pretty. And then I did go ahead and even add in some little pink florals as well, just to really doll this up. Again, customize this to whatever decor style or colors you are using for your party. So here is the table in all of its glory. There are so many ways that you can add some really customized vintage and fun, beautiful, elegant touches without breaking the bank, you guys. So definitely check your Dollar Tree, find some beautiful bottles to create your florals in. Don't forget to shop your sales and also glam up those Dollar Tree candles. It just makes them times 10. Look at your thrift stores and your flea markets for old sets of dishes. You guys can even borrow them from a friend. And here it is with the beautiful little fence. What a transformation. In my opinion, I'm over the moon in love with this. Such a fun setting. And again, think you guys could use this for bridal, for wedding, for a baby shower, for a birthday party. The sky is the limit on this. Get creative and have fun, and definitely, compile some different elements, mix those vintages and florals together, and you guys will have an amazing party for sure. And also, here's some of those DIY Dollar Tree cakes my daughter and I created. You guys have to check out this video. These are so fun to decorate with. The sky is the limit on colors with these as well. So I hope you guys are loving this. Comment and let me know what is your favorite DIY on this video. I love doing DIY videos, and I can honestly tell you this is probably one of the favorite ones I have done so far this season. I have so many more fun ideas to share with you guys, and I really hope you guys are loving this one and are inspired. And remember, your party doesn't have to be outside. You guys can recreate this inside wherever you have a little space. You could even set up a tiny little table. And I wanted to thank one of my wonderful subscribers for sending me that beautiful card. Such a lovely touch, and it went in perfectly with that super cute little tablescape. I also wanted to share with you all how this looked at night. I went ahead and shot a little bit of footage for you guys to show you guys how these candles are just glowing. And there's my daughter and I having way too much fun. So in my small bedroom, I've created a little beauty space for myself. However, it is a bit cluttered and I really need to expand the mirror area so I can see to fix my hair. And also I'm going to lose the table covering. Now here is my husband, Josh. He is going to help me get started on this little makeover project.
Hi, it's Josh again with Olivia's Romantic Home. I've been charged with the task of creating a mirror for Olivia's vanity area. So what we're going to do is try to take this old mirror, shore it up a little bit, add a shelf, some decorations, kind of things to it to kind of bring it all together for her to use in her vanity. Okay, so we flip this over. We're going to check the back out, kind of see what needs to be done to make sure this thing's good and stable. We're essentially going to make this into a mirror shelf, I guess is the best way to put it. The way it was originally hung was lengthwise. We're going to go vertically with it. We're not actually going to hang it by a wire. We're going to mount it to the wall so that it's stable. So we're going to go ahead and remove this. The first thing I want to do is add this little shelf. This is a plastic shelf. It's kind of cheap. You see these a lot in thrift stores. I don't know what era. It was originally gold, but I really like these kind of things. I've got a few other pieces that kind of go like this that are really neat to add to stuff. We're going to add it right down here at the bottom. I'm not going to do that by using the original mounting brackets because I don't think those are going to last. I'm going to add a piece of wood across and actually then sit the shelf on that wood. So first thing I do is this to the size that will fit in there. It doesn't have to be too exact, so I'm just going to kind of wing it.
So Josh is using some reclaimed wood to add to the base of this to attach the shelf to, and then he wants to sink some holes into this piece of wood to give his shelf something to attach to. Then he's just going to go ahead and screw it into the base of this mirror. Now he's adding some holes to the shelf, and my daughter is jumping in and helping him hold the shelf so he can go ahead and screw the shelf onto the base of this mirror. This idea was genius because when I tried to attach the mirror to the wall, it just kept falling down. And here is kind of what it's looking like so far. Then Josh had the idea to go ahead and add another piece of reclaimed wood. This time he wanted to add it to the top of the mirror to give the mirror some added just dimension and interest. So he's cutting this to suit the size of the mirror, and then he's going to go ahead and router the entire piece of wood here, and that's just going to give the piece of wood a little bit more of a finished edge. He is an amazing craftsman. He's also went ahead and decided to router the entire edge of the mirror, again just to give it a bit more visual interest and a bit of that more finished look. And now he's reattaching the piece of wood for the shelf and also reattaching the shelf. The next thing Josh decided to add to my little mirror shelf makeover project were these hooks. He picked up these hooks for about $1 each, and he's adding one to each side of the mirror, and that will give me something to hang my jewelry from. So really I'm trying to minimize the space on the counter that I need, and I only have a couple of pieces of jewelry as far as bracelets go, so they're going to go perfectly on this space. And now he's just sanding it off to prep it for painting. And we're going to go ahead and use my Method wood cleaner. I love this. I also have a Grove collaborative coupon if you guys need some yummy smelling cleaners. And you guys can see I made him a sandwich to get him through this afternoon project. And now he's just pouring some of the white paint into a cup, and then we're going to go to town painting this mirror. I absolutely love it when he is here to help me paint. If you guys can see at the top of the mirror, he added some little spindles, again just for some more visual interest. He has such amazing ideas and really has an attention for detail for making these trash to treasure projects look really custom and really high end. And you guys, it cost us next to nothing. So get creative, get out your paint and a little bit of power tools, and you guys can make some really amazing things for your spaces. So we ended up just going ahead and going in with the white paint and giving this entire mirror shelf project 2 coats of paint, and then we let it dry really well. So Josh was so sweet to go ahead and finish off this project. He went ahead and removed my old mirror, which I'm actually going to use in my bathroom because I need a smaller mirror for there. And then here is the Trash to Treasure thrift store makeover project that he did. I love this mirror because it's so much taller, and so I'll be able to sit at my table and be able to fix my hair, and then also, you know, see what I've got going on with my outfits. So he's just taking a piece of wood and he's going ahead and pre-drilling some screws here, and what he wants to do is just to screw this into the wall, and that way that will give something for the mirror to attach to and kind of sit on top of, just to give it a little bit more security. He's so great about that for me, because I have a really hard time hanging things. A lot of times they fall down. So he is going to do this the right way and make sure it's on here nice and secure. And I'm so thankful that he did this project with me. He did such an amazing job, and he even uses a level. And to be honest with you guys, I don't use a level all the time, so sometimes my things are wonky. He even cleaned it for me. You guys, kudos, top notch. Definitely, I am so in love with him and the way that he is so just careful about how he does things and hangs things, and I just absolutely love it.
Okay guys, so here is the final project. I am loving how tall this mirror is. I can also see myself being able to get ready here. I took my little fake closet set up and I put that into another corner of my bedroom, and Josh is actually going to build me a little custom closet. So there's just that little corner space there. And then here is a mirror that Josh picked up for me that we are going to use in another Trash to Treasure project. He's going to frame it, and then, but it was only $7. My little outfit of the day.
So here is the finished project. I downsized this whole area. It feels so clean and decluttered, and I'm just really loving this space now. It's definitely nice to have a little table, a little space that's all your own that you can decorate and get ready at and just have a cup of coffee at in the morning. So I'm definitely loving this.
So thank you all so much for joining me on another Trash to Treasure thrift store makeover compilation video. I hope you guys are inspired. I hope you guys create something amazing today. Hey, if you guys are new, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of my YouTube family. It's totally free. All you have to do is click that little bell. It will notify you every time I upload a new video. It is a true blessing and an honor to have you all here. My heart just is so full. Every time I read all of your comments, every time you guys like and share my page, it helps my channel out and it keeps me going on this YouTube journey. So thank you guys so much. I have a ton more DIYs and Trash to Treasure projects. I love to clean, sometimes cook, and just share all these fun things, everything with heart, family, and home I love. So thank you guys again. I love you so much, and until the next video, we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.